last night to lead the Warriors to a win at OKC. Russell Westbrook had a monster game with 44 points, but he got almost no help from Carmelo and Paul George. Shannon, what did you learn last night?
It reinforced my doubts that I have with the OKC Thunder about them being serious challengers to the Warriors or the Houston Rockets. And this is why. Paul George says, I'm having mechanical issues. What are you? You a piece of heavy machinery or something? Dude, you 10 years deep in the league. You shouldn't be having no mechanical issues.
Wait, what did you call him?
A piece of heavy machinery?
No, Paul George. It's George Paul.
No, it's Paul George.
Call him by his name, George Paul.
Stop.
Last night he was George Paul. You know it, and I know it.
Now you're making my case. You remember the case that you had, like CP3 comes up small in the playoffs, James Harden? Tell me how big Carmelo Anthony and Paul George has come up in the playoffs, and I'll sit back over here and wait. Joe, I'm asking him. I'm asking you. You can answer that.
Well, I never said they have come up big in the playoffs.
But you want to. But you have more faith in them.
Did you see George Paul shrink against LeBron last year? They had them in the first
They
round.
had nothing.
Yeah, they had them.
Ron
How about
said
game one? Go look at game one.
Yeah.
And how about game two?
Yeah.
George
In game
Paul.
3, remember they had a 26-point lead? And LeBron James and 4 guys said, hey, I need you. Put that beer down. Come on in here. Got the lady selling beer and came back and spot. But that's neither here nor there. Russell was spectacular last night. Don't tell me he ain't tracing that triple-double. You see how he's trying to get all those rebounds, Joy? You saw that too, didn't you, Skip?
How he's trying to. He got 16.
Yeah.
He had a game-high 16.
Whoa, Skip.
I mean, you got to give him some credit.
I'm giving him credit, Skip.
He had 3 more than his 7-footer had.
Skip.
How does he do that? Do you think people just say, here, you can have this one?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Skip. All I'm saying is that when Russ puts on a performance like that, they can't waste it.
No.
And they wasted it last night. Carmelo was over from the three-point line. Paul George was 9 of 25, 2 of 9 from the Paul George was 3 of 9 from the three-point line. Carmelo 0 of 9. I mean, Russ goes 15 of 25. That's few and far between that Russ is going to go 15 of 25. You know that, Skip. Because we remember last year, what was that, game 3, game 4, where he took 18 shots in the fourth quarter and shot them out of the ball game? This is why I have no faith in them, because I don't know. Because I haven't seen Carmelo in a very long time show up big in a playoff series. Paul George, I know what he's capable of. Now, he's put together some great games, but in order for them to become a serious threat to the Warriors, a serious threat to the Rockets, they're going to need consistent play. I don't have any. Russ is going to score his points. He might take 45 shots to get them, but he's going to score his points. He's going to need a trusty sidekick to come along with him every game. And I don't know if either one of these guys can do it, Carmelo or Paul George, because they've never been in a situation where they've been counting on being number 2. They've always been number 1.
So, my takeaway from last night was you will not see much better regular season theater than what happened much of that game, because at Oklahoma City, which is now Russell's house, we had Russell Westbrook going blow for body blow with the co-star who said, I am sick and tired of Russ, and I am joining forces with Golden State. And they were trading threes. They were trading slams. It's like, what I can do, what you can do, I can do better.
Correct.
Back and forth and back and forth. And I really was highly entertained by a classic battle of MVP wills between Russ and KD. But even worse than remember, Paul George, I'm going to say it one more time. He is nothing more than a complimentary star. He's not a superstar. He's a complimentary star. And for the Laker fans to think he could be a savior in L.A. is just laughable to me, because he's not that guy. It's fine to have him on your team, but you can't expect him to carry your team, because in games of this magnitude, he's liable to come up with mechanical problems. And I don't know what's happened to Melo. He still doesn't look in very good shape to me. But for him, in a game of this magnitude, to go 0 for 9 from 3, and that now Billy Donovan, the coach of the Thunder, has a big crisis, because do you play Melo in the fourth quarter or not? You remember what happened 2 games back? He sat him for much of the fourth quarter in favor of Jeremy Grant, and then when he finally started to put Melo in with, 2.5 minutes to go in the game, Melo said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go in because Jeremy's playing too well. So you got a crisis with your former fading superstar, Carmelo, but in the two of the previous games against Golden State, remember, Oklahoma City beat them by 20 and by 21, home and away. And Melo and Paul George came to play.
Right.
And actually,
Paul George was spectacular.
He was. And they gave Russ the help he needed. But this is what just drove me nuts last night. Remember, Golden State is playing without Steph, without Iguodala, without Livingston. There's no Caspi. There's no Patrick McCaw. There's no Kevon Looney. You would think they don't have a bench.
Exactly.
Guess what? Golden State's bench last night outscored Russell's bench 38-14. That just can't happen. And Quinn Cook made two huge free throws, and Golden State closed down the stretch, making all 6 of its free throws. Kevin Durant stepped up and made his 2. Draymond closed it with his 2, and Quinn Cook made 2 crucial ones right in the middle. So that was the difference in a game that Oklahoma City still had a chance to win in the last couple of minutes.
But you can't feel comfortable, Skip, when Golden State is playing without all those guys, and they go to your building and they win that ball game. Just Steph alone should be like, oh, we winning this game.
Russell Westbrook put on, to your point, one of the all-time great regular season performances you will ever see.
Yes,
because when you go for 44 and 16 rebounds in the fourth quarter, you're just willing your team back into the game by just attacking the basket in ways nobody can attack the basket with the quickness and lift that he has. LeBron's the greatest freight train I've ever seen go into the basket, but Russell is just so lightning quick. They just can't keep him from the rim, and he can jump out of the gym. He's elevating so high above the rim. He's laying it high off the glass. He is virtually unstoppable late in games unless he starts taking threes. Yeah. But if he just attacks the basket, you can't keep him from the basket or the free throw line. And by the way, he stepped up and made 11 out of 12 free throws, and he's not had a good free throw year this year. But the point is, in the end, the guy who stood tallest in what's now Russell's house was Kevin Durant. He goes 34 and 10. And he is once again showing you he is the best player on this planet.
Stop it, Skip, baby. See, why you got to ruin the conversation every time by saying this foolishness? You know Kevin Durant is not better. You had every guy come out here, NBA player, come out here and tell you, oh, it's LeBron by a mile. It's not even close. Coaches have said that. Even on the air and off the air, it's not close. And you still refuse to acknowledge this man's greatness. Why?
Who was the MVP of the finals? That's all I need to know.
So
last year's finals, help me out.
Who was MVP of the Super Bowl? So by that logic, Nick Foles is better than Tom Brady.
No.
Why?
This is 5-on-5, and it winds up being 1-on-1.
It was 11-on-11.
Oh, stop.
Skip, you and I both know Kevin Durant is not better than LeBron. He's not asked to do.
Who took over last year's NBA finals and took over in LeBron's house? Who took the game over?
Okay, Kevin Durant.
He showed you. He made a resounding statement, I'm better than you.
He made a shot.
The torch has been passed.
Well, Nick Foles made the throw. What about that throw to Zach Ertz? That was a throw.
I agree with you. I've been telling you, Nick Foles is better than Carson Wentz. So
he's
thank
better
you.
than Tom Brady.
You keep closing my argument for me. And if you want to do that, let's go. Let's go into that one. Nick Foles is really good, and you got a problem next year because Carson Wentz is going to be the backup.
LeBron James averaged a triple-double over 5 games. It's never been done before, and he lost. How you get because the guy won the Finals MVP after the guy he was guarding averaged a triple-double, and look what he's following it up with.
He made all the crucial shots. Who made them? Do you remember the shots he was making? Do you remember the baseline jump shot he made? That crucial turnaround.
Here's a little unknown fact. Steph Curry averaged 28, 9, and 8. He's a 2-time MVP.
Yep.
His team played better. They made more plays. But to say LeBron, the man averaged a triple-double, and you say somebody snatched his crown because they won the championship? Come on, Skip.
Kevin Durant stood tallest again last night. And again, if they don't have Steph for the whole playoffs, I still like this team to win.
You won't bet nothing.
Yeah, I will.
No,
I got to see the matchups.
I don't care what the matchup is.
Okay, we will bet.
They're not coming out the West without Steph.
No. Yes, they are. Yep, we'll bet on it. Let me see how it falls. Because right now, the West is in total flux. I'm not even sure, seriously, I'm not sure the Thunder are going to make the playoffs in the West. I'm not sure my Spurs are going to make the playoffs in the West because they blew a game they should have.
Hold on.
Cakewalk.
Hold on. Whoa. How did a Popovich, what Tony Parker doing? See, if he'd spent less time worried about Kawhi, Tony Parker could have been doing what he was supposed to do.
They were up 5 with
You up?
minute left.
You
can't do it.
You were up 19 at one point.
It reminded me vaguely of Game 6, and I stayed up to watch this whole thing. It just nearly, I couldn't even go to sleep. I was just out of my mind because they blew a game. They could have clinched last night.
No, because what happened was, like, what is Shelley going to say about the King? Because he was spectacular. 27, 10, and 6 on 14 shots.
Yeah.
And you wonder why LeBron has to play so much. Do you remember, Skip Bayless, with 1 minute and 13 seconds, they had a 12-point lead. They sent LeBron James to the bench. What did it have to do with 20 seconds on the clock, Skip? Because there are some people that don't have the NBA league pass.
It was over. You know it, and I know
No,
it. It was over. Jetty closed the deal. Jetty.
You gonna sit there with it?
Well, he did. He did. He closed the deal.
LeBron was on the bench, had his warm-ups on. He had to come out of his warm-ups with 20 seconds. They were up 12 with 1 minute and 13, Skip.
Okay.
Well, speaking of all that,
I know.
Why did LeBron go after the media yesterday?
Yeah.
Discuss that next.
Should've.
I can't wait for this.